I'm going to show you how to make cakes in bulk in Palworld. So you see here I have 15 cakes already ready to go. In order to do that, you're going to need a few different things. You're going to need flour, you're going to need red berries, milk, eggs, and honey. So to start with the more simple one, if you don't already know, I'm sure you do because in the tutorial, you need a berry plantation. And then you're also going to need not just the berry plantation, I did not mean to build that. You're also going to need a wheat plantation. Now to get a wheat plantation, you need wheat seeds. And in order to get wheat seeds, you're going to have to kill enemies that drop them. Generally, higher level grass enemies can drop wheat seeds. Not all of them, though, but a lot of them. You see, not this one either, but a lot of these higher level ones that are grass types will be the ones that will drop the wheat seeds, like this one. And you look at the habitat, you can find it there and there and there, the Denosum, for example. So just find level like 20-ish grass enemies and kill them, and they'll drop wheat seeds. Now, I'm assuming you know how to farm, but if you don't know how to farm, it's pretty simple. You need one pal at your base that can do watering, one that can do gathering, and one that can do growing or something. So if I look at this one, for example, Patalia is a good one. She has planting, gathering, and then all I need is another one that has watering. And then after that, they should do all the rest on their own. Once they get the wheat and the berries, if you have one that has transporting, it'll transport berries into a feed box like this. And then as for the wheat, it'll do the same thing. Once you have wheat, if it hasn't been eaten by your pals already, you can go over to a mill, which is something you unlock a little bit later on. And the mill is in the production tab, and it's unlocked, I forget, level 16, 20, 21, something like that, I don't remember. And then once you have that, you can go to it, and you can select the recipe. There's a recipe for flour, and you can convert your wheat into flour. You'll need a pal that can do watering. In order, oh my god, what's happening? You'll need a pal that can do watering, and they'll, spray water on the mill to make it turn, and they'll turn it into flour. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind is different pals eat different amounts of food. So a pal that's super endgame will use a ton of food. Down here, you can see the bars when you inspect it. And if all this is filled, it means it eats a crazy amount of food. So one thing that could be screwing you in making cakes, if you have too many pals that eat a ton of food, then you'll never have food in the feed box. You'll never really use that food to make cakes. So be sure if you're making cakes to have it at a place with pals that don't eat a lot of food so the feed box can actually fill up with materials for your cakes. But that still leaves us with the other three ingredients. There's milk, egg, and honey. Now, egg, I have a feeling a lot of you already know where to find the egg, but there's a pal called the chickpea, number 3. And this is found in most starter areas. I think all the starter areas. It's just a chicken. Catch it. And then what you'll need, if you don't already know, there's going to be the ranch. And you'll build a ranch, and you'll assign the chickpea to your ranch at the PAL management box by just dragging it down to this bottom part. And then at different times, it'll go over here into the ranch. You can see one right now. And it'll randomly lay eggs. Now, you'll either go pick them up, or if you pals have the transporting skill, they'll transport your eggs out and put them inside of the feed box. As for milk, it's, you guessed it, these things behind me called Musarinas. So Musarinas, they can only be found in one area of the map. So here's Musarina number 29. They can be found at the center of the map around level 15, I think is what level they are in the wild. I can't remember. Maybe it was 12 or something. So you can go right there and you can catch yourself a bunch of Musarinas. And then the last one that you're going to need is called it's either Bigard or Bigarde. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's this one. Now, this one's up here. They're generally level 20-ish or 30-ish. I can't remember, 20 or 30. The problem with them, though, is they have an ability where they self-destruct. So you've got to catch them fast. And you're going to need better balls, probably. So you're probably going to want at least Gigaspheres when catching them, or ideally Hyperspheres to make it easy, which you can unlock later on in the technology tree. Or you can just find them in random chests in the later areas of the game. But either way, once you catch a few of the Bigards, or whatever, let's call them Bigards. Once you got some of them, you'll do the same thing where you assign them to your base, and they'll randomly go in the ranch and make honey at different times. And then between that, you'll have the honey, the eggs, and the milk. Now, if you really want to get serious about making cakes and doing the breeding and stuff, then you're going to want one like this. I have a second base, and at this second base, I have 4 cows, 4 chickens, 4 of the bees. I have 1 fox parks for cooking. And then I have this thing for transporting and for watering. I have this one for the planting and this one for the harvesting and planting. And then these ones right now, Jetragons, are just what I'm breeding right now. But anyway, and I have some open slots if I wanted to do more. But I have a whole area that's just dedicated to low food tames that don't eat a lot of food, but then they make a lot of these things. And then I'm actually able to build up the materials. You see here I got wheat, honey, milk, eggs, and berries sitting here. And I've already made a bunch of cakes recently. So, this is after I made them. So doing all that will get you the cakes. And then in order to make the cakes, you just need one of those over there. I think it was called you go to the food tab. It's the cooking pot. It's unlocked, I forget, level like 20 or something. Let's see. The cooking pot was level 17. Once you have the cooking pot and you get all those ingredients, you can make cake. And in order to make cake, what you'll need is a pal that can do a certain type of skill. So you need a pal that can do kindling, which this one can't, but this one can. The Van Worm, kindling level 1. Or this Fox Parks that I have assigned to my base, which is why I have it assigned here. Now, cakes take forever to cook. So ideally, you're going to want a higher level kindling pal. So Fox Parks, after I throw this cow out of my way, Fox Parks is only level 1 kindling. You see on the middle right, there's a red icon, has a 1 on it. There are way better pals that you can use, like Suzaku is level 3, and I don't think I have another one in here, but there was Jormungand Ignis or something like that, and he has actually level 4. But again, those ones come at the cost of higher food usually. So, for example, this guy has 3, but he also has a bunch of the food, so he eats food like crazy. So it's kind of a compromise. One thing I like to do is just use a one that's way slower, and then just have like 2 or 3 of them with 2 or 3 different cooking pots and just spread it out or something, and then just set them all up, and then just go and play the game for like an hour and come back, and then I'll have like 15, 20 more cakes or something like that. You could set up different ways of doing it. That's whichever way you want to do it. Now, if you're getting cakes for breeding, what you're going to want to do with them is you're going to want to make a breeding farm. So that's under production or pals. Under pals is breeding farm. And in order to breed, you need to put the cakes into the chest over here on the right. Make sure it's not completely buried or else you won't be able to see it. And you want to put the cakes in there. And one good thing to know about that is cakes do not rot when they are in this. Now, I don't know if it'll be this way forever. I don't know if that's a glitch or a bug or if they intended for it to be that way. But that is what... That just happens. So always store your cakes in there. Now, if you want to breed things, I'm kind of giving you a quick how to breed tutorial, even that's not what this video is supposed to be. You just take a pal that's male and you take a pal that's female and you walk over and you throw them in like this. You see it says 1 of 1 female. Now I would do the same thing for a male. And breeding's very glitchy, by the way. Like right now, the cow just ran out and it may not come back. It may get glitchy. You may have to destroy it and rebuild it. You may have to log out and log in. Lots of weird things can happen. But ideally, you can just set them up and then just go and do other things in the game and come back, and then you'll have some eggs, and then you throw them in egg incubators, which if you don't know what egg incubators are, that's technology. There's egg incubator. You'll need ancient civilization parts, ancient technology points, which you get those from defeating world bosses or tower bosses. But anyways, that's a whole different video right there. And one last pro tip here that you really might want to do. I've been too lazy to do it, but I really need to do it, so maybe I just do it right now. So the bee guards, they have an ability called Be Quiet, which is basically self-destruct from Pokemon. What you can do is you can take them and put them in your inventory real fast, go to your party, go to them, and then take Be Quiet, and you can unequip it. It's right-click on mouse and keyboard. I don't know what it is on Xbox. But you can unequip that and then put them back in, and then they won't have the self-destruct ability. Now, you might wonder why that matters, and the simple answer to that is because of raids. If you ever get raided, then what they'll do is almost immediately they self-destruct. And then you'll have to take them and you'll have to put them back into your PAL box menu and wait 10 minutes for them to revive and then put them back into your farm. And it's just a lot of micromanagement that you really don't want to have to deal with. So I highly recommend going to each one of these one by one, unequipping that Be Quiet ability, and then putting them back into your farm. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much everything I got for it and how to make cakes. I even showed you how to use them and how breeding works, a quick like TLDR of breeding. Hopefully helped you out, guys. If it did, check the description of this video for other helpful guides. I'm making tons of guides, and I linked all of them in the descriptions of each of these videos, so you can bounce around and look for other guides and different things that you want to know. But hopefully helped you out. Now you know how to make cakes, how to get honey, how to get eggs, how to get milk, all that stuff in Palworld.